One. We're live.
All right.
Hello again to the third episode of Saturday Morning Survivor on this Saturday evening.
Yes.
Had a delay a little bit, It's still Saturday. We didn't
happens.
want to interrupt the Saturday morning cartoons, so we decided, let's do it later in the day. We heard some good cartoons were coming out today. I don't know the names of any of them, but you got to watch those now. So, John,
yes.
How are you doing to this fine day?
I'm doing just great. I'm over here relishing in the fact that my winner pick is still alive and thriving while yours has been taken out.
So my girl, my Parvati 2.0,
too bad.
As she was dubbed. I didn't say that. Those were not my words.
No.
Molly Byman, she has been eliminated. My winner.
Bye, man.
Second boot. It's because they were afraid of her. So she was a threat. She definitely played much too hard, I think. Not in the traditional sense, though. Not in the traditional sense as to like where Ronnie played extremely hard, like typical Survivor playing too hard. She was too, like, if you want to compare her to Elaine, actually, because Elaine was very talkative and with everyone, but Elaine wasn't like making like social moves. She was just being friends with everyone. Molly was making social moves, not like in anyone's face or anything, but she showed her hand already. And the problem was that her, Jamal, and our boy Jack, who I really like, actually. I keep like every episode. They were too cocky. They were too confident, especially the way Jamal was talking in Tribal. We'll get into all that, but
a king, a queen, and a jack, and
king, a queen, and a jack. I cannot believe that was not a hashtag. I was waiting for it. They said it like 5 times in that episode, and that hashtag never came across the bottom of the screen.
CBS doesn't always like to put out hashtags.
Well, like they used to. Yeah, right. I don't know. Yeah, but that was pretty good. I feel like one person probably said it, and then the producers were like, "Oh, this is good." Like during the interviews, they like call it the queen, and the jack. Like,
yeah.
I feel like that was definitely pushed. That's good.
Yeah, probably.
So we'll come full circle around to talking about how Molly got voted out, how her quick Parvati game is now over.
Yes.
But yeah, so we started off the episode with the aftermath of the Tribal from last week, where we lost Ronnie boy.
Ronnie boy.
And Aaron's going all scorched earth. What are your thoughts on Aaron's approach there? Not trusting anybody.
He wasn't so bad. I mean, he should have, like, he didn't. I don't think he was too offensive in anything that he said, too overly aggressive. But when he's having a side conversation with Missy, and she says, like, "Look, man, no hard feelings. It was the situation at hand." He really probably should have taken that for what it's worth, because Missy was class A in how she was doing damage control, and he didn't really want to buy it, and he's going to need to buy it at some point if he wants to stick around, because that's what you got to do.
Yeah, so I mean, she gave him an out effectively. She was trying to, like, because she gets the game, she understands that it's a vote-to-vote process, and she's probably not afraid of Ronnie, or not Ronnie, Aaron rather. So she's trying to just get him to play the game at least a little bit, and he's just acting like really hurt by it without like being emotional about it. He's just going out and just being like, "I don't trust any of you guys," which is not something you say. Yeah, nobody trusts anybody. We all know that. That's the point of the game. And yet he's out here just telling them that to their face. So how do you expect anyone to work with you? He's really banking on a swap, which I don't think is coming. I don't think they're gonna have a swap. I think they might have one tribe swap to, not to 3. I hope they don't do a 3 again. But they might do they might switch it up to go just 2 tribes switch up.
A little shuffle.
A little bit later, like maybe episode 5 before they do the merge, because I feel like with the way that Island of the Idols is gone, where it alternates back and forth right now, I think they want to keep that going, that balance.
Yeah.
To try to get as many people to go there as possible before we get to the merge.
Well, it's nice that for once in a blue moon, a member of a purple tribe playing against an orange tribe actually left before before a big tribe swap. It would be great if episode 5 we're at a 2-2 balance. What 2 members of Lyra, 2 members of Okai are gone, and then we can have like an even shuffle. If you could
Yes.
get an even shuffle with no majority on either side of a
Well, you're
new.
never gonna get like, I mean, the odds of them getting an even,
Oh,
because even if there's 2 missing on each tribe, then you're 8-8. Then you have to hope that it ends up 4-4 when you do the swap, because they do that randomly. I believe that because they've had some bad swaps in seasons that just
oh yeah.
they're going to happen. Like, it happens when you do swaps like that. So I think that's why they're only doing 1 this season, because they're afraid of like overpowering swaps, like where they just end up with another tribe that's just like, from example, from last season from Edge, they had the tribe of you're going 2 seasons ago, but from Edge, when they
Mm-hmm.
had Joe, which one was that, Kama, they all
Yeah.
went to a new tribe. There was just more Kama.
Yeah. It was just comma.
It was
Yeah.
just Kama again, and they were just won all the challenges again. So what was the
Mm-hmm.
point of that third tribe? Like, it was just, and then you just watched.
Yeah.
I can't remember the other name of the other tribe.
Yeah.
Manu just degraded into nothingness. So
Yep.
I think that's why they might, after seeing that and other seasons as well, I think that's why we might only get 1 swap,
I
and it
think
might come
that's
a
a
little
fair
later.
estimate.
So I just think that's the way, the direction it's kind of heading in. Speaking
Which
of
cool with me.
of Island of the Idols, which we were talking about just a second ago,
Yes.
Kelly Kim is going to the Island of the Idols and has a much easier task, in my opinion, than the first person to go there.
Big time easy.
And
Yes.
the way they cut it was pretty good, because they made it look like she wasn't paying attention, in my opinion, when they were talking to her, making her try to remember all that stuff. She just did not seem like she was retaining it. But I feel like I thought they were gonna like start like say to tell her like, you have to look like you're paying attention, which I'm not sure if they did or didn't, because if I'm sitting there and I'm talking to her the way that they were, the faces that she was making was someone who was just not interested at all. And even if she was retaining it, it doesn't matter if she's retaining it, because I'm seeing how she's acting when she's talking to me, which obviously doesn't matter between Rob and Sandra. But I feel like that was something they should have hit on more so. And the questions that they gave her, I was expecting something like a little bit juicier.
Absolute layups.
They were absolutely easy. Like,
yeah,
I was like, that was, you didn't really have to pay attention. And good thing that she hesitated, and Rob was just like, oh well, you only need 3. Like, I mean, she probably would have gotten 4 regardless, but
see it.
3 of 5, like, that's 60%. That's a D. Like, I don't know.
So it was get 4 out of 5 of the questions.
Oh, you're breaking up for a second there. Hold on. Say that again.
And get 4 out of 5 questions.
Am I losing you, John? I might be losing you. Hold on. Your mic's going all robot.
Are you cooking?
You're moving on the stream, but I don't have you.
No.
Oh, I think you're back.
I'm moving.
Go ahead, start talking.
Trying to get fresh again. Oh, frozy.
Yep. You're slowly moving. We're gonna get there in a second. So, those softball questions though, man. When you be like, oh, you're Pomeranians. What was it? One of their names? Not even both. You just needed to name one of the dogs. That's such a softball. Like, it doesn't matter like too much about the branch of the military. Like, that's just such a, you could just guess that she's wearing an army hat on her head. Like, I don't know how to feel about those ones. And did I completely lose you there, John? Because I don't hear anything right now. I think I might have. Johnny boy. Well, I'm gonna keep talking until I gain John back here. Oh, he's back. Oh
my lord.
Oh, I missed you. I just kind of rambled for a little bit there.
Disappeared into the darkness.
You're back, boy.
But I have returned.
You're back.
Oh my lord. Where were we?
You're back from the edge of extinction.
Back from the edge of extinction.
We were talking about Kelly's softball questions at the island.
Yes.
Of the idols. And about the one with the military branch when Sandra's wearing an army hat on her head.
Oh my god.
Like, are you kidding me? Like, I could have
So
answered that
silly.
correctly, not hearing anything. Because she has what was it? It was like a private first class logo or something like that on her head.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
like, well, obviously it's the army. Like, so
I don't know why.
I
It's
feel like that
so
kind of
silly.
it was kind of meant. I think they expected the first one to go the way it did because the way they set it
Hmm.
up, they kind of like force someone into it just to kind of see what it's like.
Right.
This one they
Right.
wanted a softball one to show them like you can win these things kind of thing. So I think
Yeah.
going forward, especially with the preview for next week, which was interesting. I like this because this hasn't happened on
Yeah.
Survivor in a long time. Because they're saying
Hmm.
from the Island of the Idols, you have to go into the opposing tribe and do something at night while they're sleeping. So that cutaway, that's going to be a good. That's not going to mean that much in the grand scheme of the game,
Yeah. What's the lesson there?
but I don't know. I have no idea.
Being sneaky.
I guess.
I mean, I
Well,
guess
because
that's a thing.
it might be like an idol hunting kind of thing.
Yeah. That I guess
That
that.
might be what it is. But apparently, from the preview, someone wakes up.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. We're gonna have to see what happens there.
Hmm.
So, but
That could be great.
and it's gonna be a member of Laro that goes into
Yeah.
Vokai.
Yeah.
So could be good. I hope it's not someone who's gonna bumble. I can imagine it being Vince and like him not being
Yeah.
quiet at all. Like
Well,
um
of all of them, who do you think could be the stealthiest?
the stealthiest.
Yeah.
Missy.
Missy or Chelsea are my two.
I mean
I
Chelsea,
don't
because by the way, Chelsea has an idol
Chelsea.
completely by accident. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like because she was just like, oh, it was just kind of there. Um, and I feel like that's like where all idol. I'm not sure if I'm the only one that's been noticing this, but I feel like every season, 50% of the idols are hidden in the crux of a tree,
Oh yeah,
like
always.
just a
Right in the
random
knot.
tree. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
just. It's that's where they are now. I remember back in the day when you have to dig under a bridge. You would have to dig for the
Yeah.
idol. They would
Look under
be
the shelter.
there, yeah, under the shelter, or hanging from a tree above the shelter. That was a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, this one was just in a tree somewhere,
Gotta climb.
and she just
Yeah.
not even she didn't have to climb. It was just sitting
Well,
at eye
right,
level.
right, right. I'm
I mean,
thinking about the trees one.
oh yeah, yeah. So I kind of wish that they did a little bit more with the hidden immunity idol. Like I
Mm-hmm.
like the idea of um finding not the idol kind of by random, but you find the clue by
Find a
random.
clue.
Because
Yeah.
the idol would be, and they're like always. I remember back when Russell found the first idol without a clue, it was like a
Mm-hmm.
big deal. But I think if they hid the idols a lot better, I don't think
Yeah.
anyone would be able to find them without a clue. And the idea was you have to find the clue. Like the clue becomes the idol search, and then you have the
Mm-hmm.
clue. And general,
And it
I like the
gotta
idea
work
when
a
it's
bit.
a yeah, I like the idea when it's around camp and like you have to try to
Yep.
get it when people are paying attention. I just wish it was a little bit spiced up rather than it
Yeah.
just being in a tree.
I mean, what Rick Devens last year? What he got a clue? It was in the tree above the camp, and
Yeah.
at by cover of night, he had to climb the coconut tree,
See,
and
that's good.
very nearly woke his tribe up, or
Yes.
woke the merge tribe up, and he got away scot free because man wanted
Which
it.
I'm sure they're gonna have those later in the season, like they always
Yeah,
do. But
of course.
I wish early season they would be more because like late season you don't nearly have as much to lose because you're at the end. As long as you get that bad boy, it almost
Hmm.
doesn't even matter if they see you get it.
Correct.
Like it's almost public knowledge at that point, especially the people that keep idling out. It's like well they're likely gonna have an idol, so
Yep.
it's not as big of a deal then. Now, at this point in the season, if you go out hunting for an idol like Jason did for 3 seconds on day one, your target's on your back already.
Yeah, and he
So,
talked about that. What it was interesting, and I know we're not talking about tribal, but you bring up this point about Jason getting sort of, you know, um, lambasted. I think that might be the right word for going and looking for the idol, and not even like intentionally looking
not
for the
really.
idol, but of
Not
course
even.
he's snooping.
Well, yeah.
Um, he mentioned a tribal. He says the theme of the season, Island of the Idols, it's sort of praise on the players because how can they not be under the impression that there could be like 3 idols on every beach. That could be like the shtick. Like who knows?
Yeah.
Based on the name, if you're thinking about it too much and you find yourself, oh, maybe that theme. I'm just gonna take a look real quick. It got him, and he had to talk his way out of it, which we'll get into that later. But I think he did a pretty good job.
Well, I think he got a little bit of an assist from our main girl Nora.
Mm,
Nora,
yes.
because this happened before we even had anything else going on, really. Nora just started talking,
Just talking.
talking, and not stopping, and
Hmm.
doing yoga for some reason.
Dude, we
Uh,
fell for it. We fell for it big time.
oh no,
You
right?
know,
And then freaks and geeks.
freaks and
She
geeks.
kept saying that like
Hmm.
it's the loser's turn and all that. And
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I don't think she's a loser. I don't get that vibe.
Real.
She talks a lot, like she doesn't see, but the way the game was being played, even though she wasn't with the Molly, Jamal, Jack group, which were running
Hmm.
things, she
Hmm.
didn't. She only became on the outs because she talked a lot, and that wasn't. She
Right.
was. I don't think anyone. She didn't seem like a loser. Like the way she said that multiple times. She's
Yeah.
like, "It's time for the nerds to join up," and I'm like, "You're not a
Well,
nerd. Where did
I
that
think
come
I
from?"
I think I know why. I think it's because you know Jason's isolated from his incident,
Yeah, I
and
mean,
Nora wants to protect Jason by default is a loser because there's 8 people opposed
well, on the
to two. I
bottom.
think that's what it is.
I just think her terminology was off because she was on the
That's fair.
bottom, yes, but I don't think the way that she was like making it sound like how the losers never win Survivor or whatever. Like
Oh yeah.
that spiel that she went on and like she said it to everyone.
Hmm.
I don't understand. I don't know why. I feel like this happens every season.
Hmm.
Normally it happens like third or fourth episode. Someone has a blow up, just kind of out of
Yeah.
nowhere. Like they just start
Yeah.
doing things, and you're like, why are they doing that? Most notably, probably Abby Maria in every season she's been on,
Hmm.
but
Classic.
she's a little bit more controlled chaos. Like she's purposeful chaos. This one was just, I guess, emotional chaos. I don't know. So definitely helped the boy Jason out there. Helped him
Well,
find a dance partner per se.
yeah, yeah. Well, no dancing.
No dancing.
That's
No,
a
that's right.
key.
No dancing.
It's like
Stop
Footloose.
dancing. Yeah, nice. Yeah, I like
Uh,
that reference you made.
yes. What is she doing? What is she doing? Staying up all night to tend to the fire and then
Like,
waking up and calling everybody lazy? Like, oh my god! It made my skin crawl a little bit.
even
Like,
though she ended up like being on the winning side of the vote, she is my loser for this week. Like undoubtedly.
undoubtedly, yeah,
Undoubtedly, because yeah, she won the vote, but she's put herself in a position where she's the crazy one. Like
yeah.
no one, you don't want to work with crazy. Well, you there's times when you can use
You do.
crazy, you do, but there's also at the same time you got to there's a right time to get rid of crazy.
You
And
have to be careful.
and at the same time, the crazy person never wins, never gets to the end really in general. The crazy
Hmm.
person who, because they don't really think logically per se, they just think chaos. Um,
Yeah.
Generally, everyone, when you say the word chaos, you hop to like Chaos Cass, who more
Hmm.
specifically caused it on purpose.
Yeah.
Nora is not. She's pure chaos. Like she's
No.
just
God, no.
causing problems, which is not the way to go about it. Which
Mm-mm.
and the way that she was so public about it, both at camp and at tribal, because tribal is really where
Hmm.
your true colors kind of come out a little bit, because
Oh
it's
yes.
on public display for everyone in the game. Well, not everyone. Obviously, the other tribe's not there, but everyone on that tribe now knows like this is how she's going to play the game. This is like she's going to keep
Hmm.
acting this way. So
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
she's this week's big loser because it doesn't matter if she's
Hmm.
on the winning side of the vote. She is not in a position to have any power in this game because the only power she has is when someone else uses her for their own means.
Right.
That
Right.
doesn't give you power. You become the puppet
Yeah.
in a sense.
Yeah. I mean, you said it. About using crazy. I think she's going to help Jason in major ways
Oh
because
yeah,
if the rallying cry sort of grew around Lauren because Lauren didn't want to be told what to do by Molly, Jack, and Jamal. And I think if Jason can get together with Kelly and Lauren, maybe he gets Tommy in there and then has Nora there
we'll get to
too.
Tommy. I got a lot to talk about with Tommy.
Oh my gosh, I think Jason could be in an incredible spot next week, and
Oh yeah.
I still think he's got some finding an idol upside,
No, I think he does too.
despite being
I
the guy
labeled
that
him as
everyone's
my
going
idol
after.
finder. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I do think Jason's gonna play a good game. I mean I think he got dealt a really raw deal episode one.
Yeah, yeah,
It's a good thing they won.
it happens.
So
Yeah, it's a great thing that they won that, but
But I don't. Yeah, especially with Nora now firmly planted as an easy vote out at any point. That's part of the problem with Nora. She's an easy vote out at any point in time. You never
Mm-hmm.
want to be an easy vote out, because if you're an
Right.
easy vote out, generally speaking, that means you're
You're gonna stick
someone that
around.
you're well, yeah, you're sticking around, which means you don't have
Mm-hmm.
a you're not threatening. So
Yeah.
Jason, I think, catapulted himself in a sense this week. Not to the point where he's my big winner.
Mm-hmm.
My big winner this week is Sir Tommy.
Really.
Yes, I do think Jason is a winner. I'm not saying that he's not the big winner, but I think
Mm-hmm.
Tommy
Mm-hmm.
benefited the most from everything that happened this week. Um,
Mm.
Mainly from what happens with the tribal and leading up to the tribal, which I think we'll delve into in a little bit here.
Yeah.
Um, but
Yeah.
I think he's found himself in a position where he does have friends everywhere, because he is friends
Mm-hmm.
with Jamal and Jack. He is friends with Kelly and Lauren. He
Yeah.
has
Yeah.
that relationship with a bunch of people, but he didn't stick out like, say, Molly did. He didn't stick out.
True.
He kept his mouth shut. He followed. He played his own game for himself. Really, he was worried about himself rather than guaranteeing
Mm-hmm.
anything for anyone else. He was going
Right.
to wait for the lines to be drawn. The lines have been drawn,
Mm-hmm.
and now he isn't the culprit of drawing these lines. So it's not.
Right.
This wasn't his decision, but
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
was on the right side of it.
Mm-hmm.
He's benefiting from the good side and can still work with the bad side and not be targeted due to it.
Right. Well, there's obviously some level of concern with, as close as he says, and he's telling Janet that he has Jack in his back pocket and everything. I don't know how I feel about that. Because if Janet can rally Lauren and Kelly,
I
it could
think.
be bad for him.
Well, yeah.
I don't want
So
to say he's in the primest position
yeah,
necessarily,
but
but
I don't think Janet is in a mood of targeting Tommy. Okay.
probably not.
And
Probably
it
not.
doesn't appear to everyone else that he has Jack in his back pocket, and we won't truly know until next week once we see the aftermath of this tribal.
Hmm.
We won't see
Hmm.
how Jack and Jamal, because Jack and Jamal are going to act differently because of this, especially Jamal. We'll get to what he said later.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
but I just think that honestly, I think his best ally right now, Tommy, is Kelly Kim.
Yeah.
Because
Big time.
you don't really see a lot between them, but when it came down to the tribal, they were talking most closely together about what they were going to vote for. They were the
Hmm.
two that could have flipped back and forth and changed the vote in theory.
Yeah.
They were the only two wavering, really. Everyone else was kind of set in their ways. Um,
Hmm.
and when you're friends with the girl with the idol, who has knowledge
Yeah.
of Island of the Idols, and is someone who's playing a similar game. She's not as social as Tommy is, which is her downfall a little bit. That's why she's not. She's a winner this week in my book as well, but she
Yeah.
doesn't have the social wherewithal that Tommy does. I think
Hmm.
Tommy is kind of in tune enough to say all, because Tommy, when he was talking to Janet, when he was saying I have Jack in my back pocket,
Hmm.
I don't view that as something like Jack's an ally of mine. Like he's like my big ally or anything like that.
Hmm.
He's more so saying like, let's think about this vote. Let's not just go ahead and vote, which
Hmm.
I think most of them at least did. I think Lauren and Dan, Jason, and Nora were all
Hmm.
in on voting for Molly. Jason and Nora,
Yeah.
obviously, because they were on the bottom. Dan still kind of was on the bottom. If he kind of
Hmm.
sniveled away with what happened last week, with
Yeah.
him touching people for whatever
Yeah.
reason.
And what did he do again? He touched Kelly
No,
as
he
soon as
did.
she
He
got
got
back. I
back.
was like, dude. Ah. What a
So
guy.
he's probably like a guy that acts like he's on the bottom, and Lauren's the one that's making the move, so she's going to stick by it. So
Yes.
those four were solid going into that. Then you have Jack, Jamal, and Molly, who are obviously solid on the other side of the vote. And you have three people in the middle. You have Janet,
Hmm.
Tommy, and Kelly. Janet, who I love to death, I think she's just going to kind of go with the numbers.
Probably.
She hasn't seemed like she's really she knows how to act, like she
Yeah.
knows how to give it, like when Lauren brought up the idea, she was like, that's a good idea, yeah, I like how you're
Hmm.
thinking, kind of thing like that. But she's not the kind of person, I don't think, to come up
Hmm.
with an idea like that yet.
Pretty old.
She might evolve into that.
Yeah. Pretty old school Survivor to me.
Yeah. But But yeah, so she was kind of up in the air. I still think she
Mm-hmm.
definitely leaned the other
Mm-hmm.
way. And then Tommy and Kelly were the two that really had the choice in a sense. I kind of got the vibe. We'll get back probably to the challenge itself, but I had the vibe
Yes.
going into tribal that Molly didn't stand a chance because part of the problem was for Tommy to stick with Molly.
Mm-hmm.
What he had to do was he then had to inform Molly, Jack, and Jamal that the votes were coming Molly's way and that they can't split the vote anymore. And he
Exactly.
never confronted them about that, which made me think
Mm-hmm.
that he already made up his mind. Obviously, he did, because and obviously the votes still tried
Mm-hmm.
to split.
Mm-hmm.
Which also goes to show early in seasons, I am a firm believer. I don't think you should split votes. You have no idea where people's allegiances are yet. Why would you
Mm-hmm.
split votes? You don't like the
Mm-hmm.
odds of someone having an idol are very low.
Yeah.
That's being targeted.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't get why they wanted to split votes. That was a very dumb decision.
Yeah.
Um,
Two
especially
they overthought it.
also when you say let's split votes, that's a cocky move. That's a we our numbers
Yeah.
are so good, let's split the votes, which it has its place. I'm not saying you should never split the vote. There's times when you have to split the vote.
Mm-hmm.
But this was not one of them. This was poorly
No.
strategically played by Molly, Jack, and Jamal completely.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
got full of themselves. They got cocky. Jamal got very cocky at tribal,
Very cocky. Very, very cocky at travel. Mm-hmm.
which I don't think he's entirely wrong in his mindset, but it's not
No.
something that you should say out loud. And
Yeah.
here's the problem: is that this is what some of the I've seen in like exit interviews and what people have said going
Mm-hmm.
back on it is the moment that you need to feel the most unsafe is the moment you feel the most safe. If you don't think anything's going to go wrong, that's when things
Mm-hmm.
are most likely to go wrong.
Yeah.
You shouldn't
Yep.
ever feel that safe. And so you should check yourself, which is what some of the greatest survivors do, because
Yeah.
there's been people that have great survivors that have been in similar situations as Jack, Jamal, and Molly, and they've been leading the charge and all that. But what they do
Yeah.
is they check themselves before tribal. They check, they
Mm-hmm.
go around, they make sure. Then they
Mm-hmm.
weed it out and they find out, okay, something else is going on here, at which point you
Yeah.
need to advert and go in a different
That's
direction.
that's how they know.
So
Yeah. So where are we at right now? I know we've been all over the
we've
place.
been all over the place. Yeah, we've been kind of going a little bit hard on the Vokai pre-tribal stuff. You want to talk about the challenge
Yeah.
real quick?
Well, can we talk a little bit more about Kelly? I want
Yeah,
to address the fact that she comes back from Island of the Idols. She wins her idol, good for 3 tribal councils. And she's there on the beach with everybody, and she tells the story about two big heads, a man and a woman, and then she played a game with an urn, smashed it, and
got a
didn't
no
win
game,
anything. Got a no game.
and then started crying.
And then cried a lot because she was concerned that everyone was going to think that she had something, dumped out the contents of her
In her bag.
bag and in her hair. And I really thought this was brilliant, and she did a great job. And I wonder if her and Rob and Sandra were like talking about it, like how can you sneak this idol? She had it. She had it in the little
The
ball of her
bun,
hair,
the bun,
the bun.
and
She
Jamal got a
she did
good
it.
hit on it.
But yeah, several hand taps on her hair, and nobody caught the idol. But I thought that was a good play by her.
That's what happens when you don't have shampoo for 5 days.
Yeah, it's Major Kate. Oh man, her hair it feels the same. That little bunch, it just feels dry. Do you think I remember texting you during the episode. She did do a better job than
Oh,
Elizabeth.
absolutely. Because she put on the whole lying scheme, like
Yeah.
she put, or the acting scheme rather. She
Mhm.
sold it. Like she
Yeah.
came back, and she's that. The thing is, it matches her personality. Like
Yeah.
Elizabeth came back, she's an Olympian. Okay,
Mhm.
she's a very hardcore player. Like always saying
Yeah.
this. She's like, oh, there's nothing. Like that's terrible.
Yeah.
That's why would anyone believe that? Kelly seems like she's a med student. She seems like she's stressed out a lot. She seems like she's a very smart girl. She seems like she wants to play the game very hard, and it can be very disappointing when you get put in a situation early in the game where you can't make the move. And she had the cry, and she sold it
Mm-hmm.
really well. I did not expect that. I honestly didn't expect it coming when she got back to the beach. I thought she was just going to make up some lie, going to be
Yep.
similar to Elizabeth, and that
Yep.
really worked. That's one way to do it. Do I
Yeah.
think that's necessarily the best way? Still no. I still don't.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to, everyone's going to keep saying earn no game.
Yep.
Like
Well,
it's going to. What's nice is it's been the one person on each tribe that said the same thing each time. So
yeah.
it's going to get more interesting next week when we send a second person out to see
Uh-huh.
how they respond. Not only how they respond, so it's going to be on Laro, so how they respond with Elizabeth
Mm-hmm.
specifically,
Yep.
and also what they tell the tribe. Are they going to say, "Yeah, I got a no game too"?
Yeah, maybe they'll be like, I could ex Lyro person possibly say, yeah, it was exactly like Elizabeth said, and then like pull Elizabeth to the side and be like, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing
Well, no,
this?
no, they're not. They're not. Well, they won't do that. So think of like Edge. So think of when Chris got back in the game and how Devins
Yeah.
came up to him and was like, "So Chris,
Mm-hmm.
they gave you something, right?" Because he knew
Mm-hmm.
it
Mm-hmm.
was something like that. So I think whoever's going to do this, as long as they're smart, they're going to go up to him and be like, "So what was your game?
Where's your idol?
Where's your idol? What did you have to
Mm-hmm.
do?" Kind of
Right.
things. Because like
Right.
I don't think that they're gonna make. Well, it depends on who it is. It's better to not make that public until it's beneficial to make it public.
Oh man.
So when
Yeah.
you
Do you
have
think? Uh-huh. Yeah.
yeah,
Keep going. Keep going.
so
You
like
you finish up.
yeah, so like when you have that information, it's not like saying, "Oh, well, I know someone has an idol and I
Mm-hmm.
have to let them know then." This is idol, this is the theme of the season, this is something that's going to keep going. So there's a time and place to reveal this. And
Mm-hmm.
you have a window. You really do have a window because you know that someone else is going to find out and they're going to now more people are going to have the opportunity to break it. Do you want to be the
Right.
one to break it and all that? There's going to be a time and a place to say the X person was lying about this. Do you want to throw them under the bus or do you want to go under the bus with them? Sometimes that's the move. Sometimes you bring them under the bus with you. Sometimes
Uh-huh.
you're like, well, listen, guys,
Uh-huh.
of course we lied, and you like try to do something together, but it's not something that like you want to blow up their game because now all of a sudden the next tribal, it's you versus them. It's early
Yeah.
enough game where you can't do that yet. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
there's no reason to, and even if it works out, even if something like that were to happen, and you didn't get voted out, nor did the other person,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you then draw an extra line that does not need to be drawn yet,
Mm-hmm.
which kind of harkens back to kind of what I want to talk about later with the tribal and the decision that the Vokai tribe
Mm-hmm.
made. But we've been
Mm-hmm.
focused on them a lot. Let's keep going with what you're. And you were going to say
Yeah.
something too.
Yeah, I'm gonna say if it's Aaron,
Oh
I
boy.
think he
Well,
might blow it up.
actually, he's a guy that's a perfect contender for blowing it up. Kind of. I don't know if that's going to matter. I think honestly, if he were to do that and blow it up, I just think that makes him a bigger target because now
Mm.
because when you blow it up, no matter
Yeah.
what, you are picking sides. You are forcing sides. You are on one side, everyone else is or someone else is on the other because you're going to
Exactly.
blow it up. When you're blowing, you're not just going to blow it up just to blow it up. Like, oh, guys, guess what? Everyone's lying. Like, that's not something. That's just
Mm-hmm.
no one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's the point of that? So when he's going to
Yeah.
blow it up, he's going to target someone, and he could target Elizabeth. He'd be like, well, she
Mm-hmm.
was lying, blah blah blah. But I don't think that would like make them vote Elizabeth out instead of him. I
I
don't
don't know.
think. We don't know.
I don't
So
know.
he'd be a great.
We'll see.
That'd be really cool if he gets it. But I feel like
Yeah.
it's going to be someone else.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see. We don't really. I mean,
I don't
there
know.
was no suggestion. I mean, I do want to go into scenes from the episode later after we're done everything else because there's I think a lot to talk about there too.
Yeah.
But we didn't really get any suggestion as to who it was. We just saw somebody from Vokai waking up. So somebody's going to maybe get caught, which would be very fun.
That would be so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
Remember back at the beginning of Survivor, like the first 6 seasons maybe, where
Yeah.
one of the reward challenges was if you won, you got to steal stuff from the other tribe, from their camp. That was
Yeah.
so cool. Like, doesn't really
Yep.
matter, but that's a cool thing. I like that. That's
That would be wild.
so.
That they just brought it back.
But yeah, I do like how they're trying to this season more so than recent seasons. There's feels like it's more the tribes are more separate, which
Yeah.
runs the risk of there not necessarily being a pagonging, as we all know in the Survivor extended community, where you just vote at one tribe votes out all the other tribes.
Yep.
But more so, I don't want those alliances of like, well, we're Vokai, we're Lero, let's vote against each other. But I
Yeah.
do want,
Vokai strong.
yeah, like Kama Strong from. I mean, that stuff doesn't work anymore in this game. But I do like that from what I'm seeing, they're trying to make like strides to improve the strength of the early game tribe mentality, because I think that's something that's been
Right.
a little bit missing, and I think you lose a lot of good players because of just the randomness of the early game. And I think
Yep.
that they're trying to slowly build back the early game, which is, I think, working. I think that
Yeah.
everything so far has been going the way it should have gone, and I like the idea because the tribes are not, they're not unity. There's no unity in these tribes. Like, no, they're not all together. But
No.
at the same time, there's strategy to being the tribe, which
True.
there always is. But I feel like I just get that kind of feeling that they're going to push that a little bit more this season, because I don't, like I said, I don't think there's going to be the drop the buffs, split it up 3 times before the pre-merge, like we've been
Right.
doing
Right.
so often. I think it's
Uh-huh.
just going to be more so let these tribes run the way it is. And I
Yeah.
think if the numbers get unbalanced enough, if something were to happen, they'll then switch it up. I think like they're ready. Like that's if any of the tribes falls down 2 members, like too soon, like say Vokai wins the next 2 or Lara wins the next 2, I guarantee they got a switch coming after that, because they always have multiple plans.
You're right.
So
You're right. I mean, hey, Vokai was all doing yoga together, so maybe they're closer than we think.
no, I think that's gonna blow up next week. I think that's blowing
Big
up
time.
big,
Big time.
especially with the way Lara looked pretty put together during the challenge. They looked pretty
They
put together,
did. I think that's a
surprisingly.
good place to segue into that challenge,
Yeah,
because
interesting,
there's
interesting
yeah,
challenge.
interesting challenge
I don't
for
like the
sure.
end of it, really. I don't
Nah.
see the point of having 3 people be there at the end when one person's just going to do it over and over and over again.
Right. Right.
Like, make it. I almost wish there was an extra stage. There wasn't really a puzzle stage, which there doesn't always need to be a puzzle stage, but there wasn't really like a thinking stage, more so like something like the combo lock. That's not really a
Right.
puzzle. Like something like that though. Add another thing into it, because it's literally swim, teamwork to swim down and get the thing, and then put the
You
ladder
gotta
up and get the finish.
untie the knot.
Untie
That's
the knot.
hard. You gotta think about
Oh
that.
my, untie the knot. Um, but like then all you have to do is push the ladder through a thing, and then one person just throws 3 balls up a it's a dexterity challenge at the end, which I'm fine with
Right.
that. But I just don't think, as a survivor challenge, in my humble opinion, I think that was a bad survivor challenge. I think that there was, it was
Yeah.
lacking in some department. It was not like among one of the worsts. Like if we wanted to go to Brains Brawn Beauty 2, where you had nearly 3 people medevaced in one challenge because the challenge was so bad. Um, which I'm not sure. You probably haven't seen that. Yeah, that's pretty rough. They made them spake out in the sun for like hours digging, and 3 people
Jeez.
almost got medevaced. One person did. 2 other people nearly got medevaced. That's why
Yikes.
that's another story for another day though.
That's why we keep that one locked up and we don't talk
We
about
don't
that
talk
one.
about that one. No. That never happened. Most people don't like to talk about that season for good reasons.
um
By the way,
yeah.
I said my winner and loser for this episode. Who was your winner and loser? We haven't even talked about yours.
My winner, you sort of explained it. Board with my boy Jason.
Is he
I never really
is he your winner again? Like
I never really left. Yes, he's my winner again.
all
He's
right,
my
all
winner
right, all
again.
right.
I'm sorry, Jack. I thought you had a great episode 1, but you had not personally. You didn't have a bad episode 2, but your connections got a little loose. Jason, I think he's got a little bit of the smokescreen that he needs to let things chill. I don't think there's any more further suspicion right now that he has the idol, because he was willing to strip down, which is a big deal. And
They could
you know,
I don't take that for much. If anyone were ever to do that, that's them just begging me to believe them, whether they
yeah,
have it or not. I don't care,
true.
because a lot of people just bury it somewhere on the beach and then just
Yeah,
go grab it right before tribal. That's what a lot of people do.
yeah, that's what you
Like,
got to do.
so stripping down, it's just like you're just being desperate, either to try to play me and can say that you really have the idol, or you're just trying to get my
Oh,
vote. Like
trust me,
that's
I was nervous. I was nervous when he was he was talking a little bit too much, not in the same way that Nara talks too much. She does the talking for him, which is fortunate. I just think he needs time, and I think he can get that time. Because I believe that if he could get to a swap, he could probably make out pretty well with
yeah.
members of Laro. I think he
Well,
could be a nice guy that talks a good amount, and says the right things to get people on his side. And he's not going to necessarily have that impression that Vokai had at the very beginning. So I look forward to that for him. I just hope that he makes it through the next couple of weeks, because I think if he chills and if he can make it to merge, my boy's going to do fine. I'm feeling pretty good.
yes, so I think that's a pretty common thing for a lot of people who play from the bottom to start. Is when you play
Yes.
from the bottom to start and you survive your initial tribe, you survive that initial push, and you get to either a swap or a merge or anything like that. You now
Mm-hmm.
know how to play that game and can then turn the tides a little bit. Or
Yeah.
if you need to play from the bottom, you know how to survive and keep making it and keep going. So
Oh
there's always
yes.
an advantage of being an because that it happens. That's another thing that happens a lot in Survivor is an early target, someone who's playing from the bottom early and just keeps surviving, uses that experience, that wisdom to bring them
Mm-hmm.
into a better position and play the game better than other people later in the game because they know how to play from the bottom. So a lot of good players can go straight from the top to the bottom, but
Yeah.
a lot of players also can just get stuck at the bottom. It's a matter
Mm-hmm.
of working your way out and then knowing how to work from the bottom. Because a lot of good
Yeah.
players go to the bottom and then don't get out, and that they get voted out because they don't know how to play on the bottom. Mainly because they've been in good graces for a long period of the game. So sometimes that's not the
Yeah.
way you want to go. You don't want to play that perfect game that everyone always
Oh
talks about.
yes. Oh yes.
Speaking of which, I think a lot of these people, because Jason stripped down Kelly. Of course, Kelly was lying, but she stripped down a lot of people. Part of the problem with the casting, I think, is their
Mm-hmm.
characters are great. They're a little too super fanny though, because they get the
Big
emotions
time.
run so high in early game that
Mm-hmm.
I personally, I mean, I enjoy that they're fans of the game and they respect the game in that way, but
Yeah.
I don't enjoy seeing them break down. So many people break down because of fear of losing the game. I think if you
Yeah.
have that fear, you're in
Yeah.
trouble. Just in general, if you have I mean, you have to constantly be aware of like
That's
I might get
true.
voted out, like I said earlier. But the fear and that nervousness, sometimes it's something you can work through. In the case of David Wright was
Mm-hmm.
is like the pinnacle of what that's like from Millennials versus
Right.
Gen X. But for multiple people to be doing, because Nora kind of did the same thing. Once she realized she was on the bottom, now she's freaking out. Like
Mm-hmm.
and they're not freaking out in terms of I'm on the bottom, I need to save myself. They're freaking out as this is my one chance to play Survivor, and I don't want to be voted out first or towards the beginning. And that's
Right.
too much of the mentality. I think that's something that I don't like personally. I don't enjoy when people come in like I'm terrified of being voted out first, and when I'm like even mentioned in the target or anything like that, I'm going to talk about
Yeah.
how much I love this game and all that. Like, don't talk about it like that. I don't like when people play on emotions outside of the game. I don't like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. It just happens.
It happens. I get it. I just don't like when there's,
Mhm.
like I said, I feel like there's too many people like in the cast that are that are
Oh
like that. Like it's
yeah.
okay for like, oh well, like
Well.
Cochran was a super fan. Cochran
Mhm.
was like the only one that was as super fan as he was, so it kind of
Yeah.
worked in his benefit. But when there's multiple people
Right.
doing the same thing, it's just like, oh, jeez.
And I think we need to just sort of put a little asterisk next to this cast, because I mean this is the first time, if I'm correct, that the original casting guy, I don't know his name. I should know his name. But he's no longer like head of
Yeah,
casting,
I don't
and
remember
this
his
has a
name.
lot of Jeff Probst hands on this cast,
Yeah.
and I think Jeff Love's a super fan. I
No, I
admittedly
know.
believe that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think he, probably was like, let's get as many as we can because we love them. But I just think, I think the community of people that are watching the show and trying to get on the show are probably closer to that. and we'll see what that makes for future seasons. But look, I as a Big Brother fan, I very much don't like recruits because recruits tend to be not good players of the game. So I'd rather have 5 or 10 super fans as opposed to 5 or 10 recruits necessarily. At least that's just my opinion
No,
about it.
I agree. I don't want to. I think that mainly it should be fans of the show and or people with at least
Mm-hmm.
a knowledge of the show. But I think there needs to be a balance. I think there needs to
Yeah,
be a little bit of everything because
I get that.
sometimes you get recruits that work, and when that happens,
Yeah,
generally
yeah,
when you get a recruit that isn't a super fan, it's magic. Like people that
yeah.
aren't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily I can't think of anyone off the top of my head. I mean, a lot of the older players were like that because it was mainly recruiting back then and they just worked and they're the ones that developed the game to push it to where it's at. And now you have all these super fans coming in and yeah,
Yeah.
it's good to have those super fans. They make the game good and there's a lot of good super fan players of understanding of the
Mm-hmm.
game. But when it's also cool to see the interaction between a super fan and a recruit who wants to learn the game, how they learn the game in the game, and then how
Mm-hmm.
they like see how the game's working. Sometimes learning it while you're playing it makes you better at it because the people that have been so for example, when me and you play a board game,
Yeah.
for games like that I'm not going to name any games in particular, but games that we've played in like a million times, like
Yeah.
we generally know how each other are going to play the game. Or
Yeah.
generally we know the game, like we know all the rules, and we're gonna like we might switch the style of our games up a little bit to try to win. But like when we play against new people, like at least in my
Mm-hmm.
experience, sometimes new people just blindside me with stuff that I not that they were trying to. They weren't trying to do that, but it
Yeah.
works because
Yeah.
it's like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't. Because I don't look at the game like that. I look at it from like a wherewithal. Like I've played this
Mm-hmm.
game so often. Someone who just
Yep.
comes in, just tries something, and it's like, why did they try that? Oh my god, it's working.
Whoa.
Like I
Uh-huh.
think there's
Uh-huh.
magic to that. There's some
For
good stuff
sure.
to that. And yeah, you're gonna have your duds. I get it. But sometimes it's good to have duds. Sometimes duds that have character, that's the most important thing. I think if you recruit a
Yeah.
character at
Right.
least,
Right.
you can get TV out of it. That's my
Yeah.
opinion. I don't want to
I
go too much further down this rabbit hole, but
I agree with that. I
so
yes, I like your point there. Um so where were we? Where were we after that? We talked a lot about casting,
we talked to
and
casting.
I can't
I feel
remember where
like
we were
yeah, I mean, I
in
feel like
that.
any episode of Survivor, we can always like go into just the talk of the game and the meta, and just
Oh yeah.
go off on a
Oh yeah.
tangent for a long time. But we were
For sure.
talking about
Oh,
your
it was
winner,
Jason.
Jason. Yeah,
Yes, my winner, Jason, and his emotion.
yeah.
Um, and my loser for this episode,
Hmm.
which we've been sort of waiting to talk about, and you've mentioned he said some wrong things, but Jamal, my
Yep.
guy, too cocky, too cocky, bud. Um, I mean, do you want to just get right
You in the
into the
tribal?
whole tribal
Let's
situation?
do it.
Because yeah, so
So I'll
so
let you take it away with Jamal real quick.
so Jamal, confident, overconfident, says, let's split the votes. Obviously, let's put some on Nora, put some on Jason, and just make sure in case one of them has the idols, they do it. Jamal's like, we're good. I'm gonna take a nap. Oh man, we're going into tribal.
Yep.
You got to be out there. You got to be putting in work, bud. Even if you think you're safe. And as Anthony said, sometimes you feel yourself at the safest, and you just got to check yourself. And Jamal didn't check himself. He just laid down and snorted up a little bit, and then when he's off the tribal, he doesn't even bring his bag, and I'm yelling at the screen. That's crazy. I
Yeah.
can't imagine doing that regardless of what the situation
Yeah.
is. Too much crazy stuff happens in Survivor that like what you're just gonna leave it on the island? Ugh, crazy. And you see what happens. He gets, he pays for it. He pays for it in a major way.
Yeah.
And again, you said he spoke about to Jeff that he believes let's do a simple vote. Let's make it a slow burn. We're playing in first gear. And Jeff brings up a bunch of questions about what gear are we in? Are we in fourth gear? Asks
Jason.
Jason, what gear are we in? We're playing the whole game. We're going full gear here. And Jamal, sort of shakes his head. And he's right. Early games should be slow, but if everybody else is going to play fast, you got to play fast. You can't be taking naps. You can't be not bringing your bag. And that cockiness could put a target on him in a way that he doesn't want that target. I mean, right now, I think Lauren could have his number if she really wanted it to. Um, it could be very, very bad. And if they go back to tribal, I think he could be one of the 2 or 3 names that are big
Oh, for sure.
in discussion for target number 3. So
For sure.
just a shame
He's a
because
big
I really
loser.
like him. I really like him.
Yeah, and I
But
mean, I think that like this was really damning on his game.
mm-hmm.
Like even if he goes on to have a good game, this is
Yeah.
you're gonna feel this one for a while.
Yes, sir.
So this is gonna hurt his overall game and really limits his chances of winning, of chances of getting
Mm-hmm.
to the end and finding a path. Um, but when he says the whole first gear thing, you should always be playing the game as hard. You should always be playing the game as hard as you possibly can. That
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean that doesn't mean pulling out all the tricks and all the stops at all points. That's not what that means. It
Mm-hmm.
means that you have to be thinking the game. You have to be trying to determine your way there. And if that means you have to like not do anything crazy to start, that's fine. I think
Yeah.
he blended too much of both saying I think it's smart not to do anything crazy to start, but and with that I'm going to relax. That's a logical fallacy. That doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense. Those
Yep.
two things have nothing to do with each other. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, a little bit. You should be playing the game, and with what your knowledge of the game is, and how hard you're playing it, what your strategy, your plan is, should determine where this meter goes up or down, which gear this one goes into. So there's 2
Mm-hmm.
gears. If I'm gonna play off this gear game,
Go
there's a
for it.
gear. You should always be at this level, always playing the game. No one. I hate when anyone's not playing the game at the hardest level. If that is disrespectful, in my opinion, to the
Yeah.
game. If anyone
Yeah.
plays it even a little bit less, which can happen on Survivor, which is fine if
Mm-hmm.
it's just a little bit less. They are on an island, starving. I don't know what that's like, so I could assume they're not playing it to their fullest potential, which is fine. But they're attempting to. That's what really matters. You're
Yep.
attempting to play the game.
Yes.
So the problem with what Jamal said is he has the understanding of this side. He has the understanding like because you can't always play in 4th gear because there are parts, and I'm not saying this just because I picked Molly, but there are a few people that I think this is a bad vote for to vote her out at this point in time, and I
Mm-hmm.
think
Mm-hmm.
Lauren made a mistake here. I think
Yeah.
she made a big mistake, and I'm gonna get into that in a second. But in
Mm-hmm.
terms of playing the gears, like if you think about, I'm trying to think of a good example. If you go to Game Changers, when Tony came back, Tony came
Mm.
back and ran out into the woods instantly. Literally said, "I'm gonna see you guys. I'm going to look for an idol." That's literally what he said when he got on the beach. Great for TV, fantastic. But
Mm-hmm.
that's Tony. You kind of expected that.
Yeah.
But like that's when you that's the difference. He's playing his hardest, but he shouldn't be up here at that point in time. He should be
Mm-hmm.
much lower. So you can play your
Yeah.
hardest and still be kind of cruising in terms
Uh-huh.
of plan and strategy, which was the big conversation about this. And I think that it's too, especially publicly, the way that people are going to
Mm-hmm.
perceive this episode is they're going to look at it and be like, we have to make every move, every chance we get if we get on this show. That's what I think a
Yeah. Yeah.
majority of the people watching the show is. And I think that's a mistake. I think that is a big
Yeah.
mistake. And I think
Mm-hmm.
production doesn't care. Which is fine because production wants people to come. Because when you come out and play hard, you get all these big TV moments, and you create the game.
Mm.
That's kind of that's made it so great.
Right.
But there is what I'm trying to say. There is truth to what Jamal was trying to say, and it's not in
Mm-hmm.
terms of like because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you do have to make a big risky vote at the start. I've seen many seasons where that has to be the case. I
Yeah.
just think this specific risky vote didn't quite make sense because you're not targeting someone who, like, for example, if you look at the other tribe, their vote, Ronnie made sense, and that
Mm-hmm.
wasn't really a blind side. Like we all kind of knew that was what was going to happen. But when
Right.
Ronnie comes out playing as hard as he is, like strategically thinking, not
Mm-hmm.
socially thinking, strategically thinking, he's someone that's going to make moves against you early on in the game because he's going to come out and play that style. So he's the right
Mm-hmm.
guy to vote out there.
Mm-hmm.
there's no point in like going against the fold. There's no point in voting out the charismatic Elaine because she's not going to come after you to start. Is she a threat to win? Yes, she is a threat to win. I get that.
Big time, yep.
But sometimes you need to find a way to vote the threat because it's more important to vote out the threats at the right time than it is to just vote them out. Because if you just vote them out, then you're the threat. If you're the one that's making the move on the threat, you become the threat. Which now going back to Lauren, she drew the line. She maybe not everyone knows it yet, but now it's in the way the production set it up, the way the editing worked, it is her move. She's the one that made this move this early in the game, and everyone now, whether they're on her side or not, knows that she's the one orchestrating it, which means subconsciously, whether they're thinking it now or they're thinking it on day 25, she's a threat to win. You got to get rid of her. She's put a target on her back way too soon. She didn't. When you make these kinds of moves, this is also part of why I gave Tommy my winner of the week. Tommy looks at this. He was logically looking at this move. He was like, "Hold on, guys, this doesn't necessarily make sense," because he's thinking in his head, like a lot of people will think, "I don't want to deal with crazy," which is Nora. That's exactly what's going on in his head. And not that I have anything for Molly. I don't want to upset enough people because when you make this vote, you draw a line.
Yep.
It's better to keep that line dotted so that you can make it solid when it's more impactful later. Because this vote, so this vote is impactful. Obviously, this is the biggest vote of the season. There's been 2 votes though. Six votes from now, we're not going to be thinking about this vote. We're going to be thinking about the aftermath of this vote, probably. Like Jamal's going to we're going to feel that from Jamal. But this vote itself, this isn't going to win you the game. So there's not a real reason to do this. The timing of this doesn't make sense for the people who made the move. For the people who hopped on the move, people like Tommy, honestly, Jason and Nora, they kind of hopped onto it. They're just playing for their lives. It's not really they're not really hopping on. They're just playing because they have to do that. That's just what you have to do. But for Tommy and Kelly specifically, I guess Janet can be involved in there a little bit. Dan, I don't think anything about. So sorry, Dan.
No, sorry, Dan.
Stop touching people.
Stop touching people, boy.
But I think that this is the big move for Tommy and Kelly to like be a part of a winning vote like this, and not be the thought behind it. We're not the ones that targeted it. We went with the move. We're not being sheep to the move because they debated not doing the move. There's one thing being like Lauren goes up to say Janet, which she didn't really do, going up to her and be like, "This is the move. Do this," and Janet just does it. That's bad. You don't want to be like that. You want to be thinking about it. So they went up to him, and of course, when you're talking to the person, like, "Oh, that makes so much sense. Let's go get Molly." Like you say it to their face, but then you go back when you go talk to other people. So Tommy went to James like, "Is this the right move?" So Tommy's playing. He's really playing the game. I was worried he was going to come out and be too aggressive. He's playing it the smart way.
He really is.
He is my new winner, by the way. Not sure if you can tell by how much I've been talking about
him.
Dude,
you're putting the puzzle pieces together in my mind. He really is in a rock solid top spot in that
such a good position.
Right now.
And listen, it could collapse next week. It can all he could play a bad game next week. But from what I'm seeing, Tommy's the winner of this vote. Jason wins this vote, and Kelly wins this vote. That's it.
Yeah.
7 people lose. 7. It was a 7-3 vote, and the 7 people that lose are on both sides of the vote.
Yeah.
Because I think Nora loses just because she caused the mayhem of this.
Yeah.
And just because she won the vote doesn't mean that she's going to stick around, but I think she's ruined her game already. I honestly have that thought. I think her game's over. Jamal and Jack are obviously lost the vote, so they generally just when you lose the vote, you lose. But also they planned on winning the vote. They got cocky about it, especially Jamal, and they're on the losing side. And then, I believe in
Jack's ability to rebound, though. I do.
I mean, it's even Jamal. Like I think Jamal's a smart enough guy that he could rebound. I don't think he's going to, but I wouldn't be overly surprised if he does. Like he's that kind of guy. Like I don't think like what I'm saying. Like that's why I picked Nora as the loser because she will not rebound from this. It's over.
Yeah.
There is no way she wins. And then when we come back in December and she's the winner, I'm gonna be eating my hat.
Oh God, no.
But like that's how I look at this. Like this is tribal is a very pivotal tribal early on.
Yeah.
That the big move was made. but the people who made the move lose because they made the move.
Can you
Like,
tell me how Dan lost?
damn. Okay, well,
It's just like whatever.
he's
Dan's
not, he didn't
always
really
losing.
lose. Yeah, he didn't really lose. He didn't win though, because he was the reason. Are you ready for this? The reason he lost is because he was a goat to this.
Yeah,
He was a
yeah.
sheep to Lauren came to him. He's like, oh, I like that, and I'm gonna do
Mm,
that. Like he was just like
sheeple.
he was very sheep about it. Which that's why he was
Mm.
my biggest goat. I had a feeling about that. Um,
Eh, you might be right about that
that one,
one.
like he's not gonna win. Like I don't think so at all. But I mean,
Mm,
after I say all this, all due respect to Lauren, it's a good move, like in terms of pulling it off. I think
mm-hmm.
she went about it the right way. She knows how to pull off a move, and um, she's vindictive, which is a good trait to have, but is
Yes.
also a catch-22 because now
Mm-hmm.
she showed that hand already. I think that's way too early to make a kind of move like that. And I'm not saying that they need to
Mm-hmm.
wait till the merge to get rid of Molly or
No.
Jack or Jamal. But it's more powerful to let them think they're in power, let them gain the power, and then you turn it
Yeah.
against them and put them in a position where they have no chance to rebound. You do this on the first vote, they're going to be like,
Mm-hmm.
all right, line's drawn. I'm going to find whoever I can to say that you're the one who's got the power now. Pretty
Yeah.
simple. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
not to say that they're going to make those moves, Jack and Jamal, but I just think it just doesn't make sense to do
Mm-hmm.
this now. They could have waited till like the third
Yeah.
tribal before the merge to vote out Molly because she's someone you
Uh-huh.
don't want to get to the merge because if she gets to the merge, she's going to mingle with the other side. So it makes
Yeah.
sense. She makes sense as a pre-merge boot, but not
Mm-hmm.
the first pre-merge boot. And I get that. I get it when we look at it from like the outer. When I look at it from the outsider's perspective,
Uh-huh.
like I think of an order of like the best possible move at all times, and that's never going to
Yeah.
go the way you want.
Yep.
But you have to try to make the best possible move when you can, and you have to adapt
Mm-hmm.
to it. So when you start from the beginning and you already make the not best possible move, I think that bodes trouble because now you're going to cause
Mm-hmm.
randomness, which is something you want to. I mean, something you can't avoid, but something you want to limit as much as possible. Because now, who knows who's going to break off into twosomes, and especially when we get to a merge situation, how they're going to talk about what happened back on Vokai, how
Mm-hmm.
Lauren acted, how Janet acted, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think
Yeah.
long term this is very not very stupid. It's a stupid move. Not very
We'll
stupid because
see.
it's still a power move. So it's not going to be a very stupid move. But I think it is a stupid move.
Maybe next week we just see people saying we got to get rid of Lauren. She's Parvati 2.0. What are we gonna
I
do?
don't think that's going to happen. So I mean,
uh,
this doesn't necessarily mean that she's the next target either, but it
this
just it
is
endangers her in the future.
true. This is
That's what I
true.
think. So
Yeah.
do you have any other thoughts on the tribal and the politics of it all? I know I rambled a little bit there, but
Yeah. No. You had a.
I let you know I had that coming.
Oh, I know. I
I was
know.
waiting all week for that.
Yeah. I look. All I gotta say, chess not checkers. Just chess not checkers. That's it. That's all. That's all I have to say. Um. However you want to take that, audience, chess not checkers. Just everyone got to be playing chess. You can't be playing checkers unless you don't like chess. I what I feel like we hardly talked about Lyro at all. I mean, I know we had like
Yeah.
the blow up stuff in the beginning, but like I think there's going to be a lot of Lyro in the next episode. I'm
Oh yeah.
feeling pretty big, pretty concerned for some players' lives. I will say that.
In terms of Vince.
Vince is part of it, and
Well, Aaron obviously. Aaron's gonna.
Aaron,
Yeah.
and I
Who's the
got
other
a
one?
concern about Karishma.
Charisma.
I
What
think
specific?
I think she might be medevaced. I don't know. I
Oh,
don't know who it
you're talking about
is.
the injury now. Okay.
I'm talking about the injury. Yeah. Before we talk about scenes, do you have any closing thoughts about the episode as a whole?
I think this episode is going to be one to be good to look back on
Yeah,
later in the
bookmark.
season. This is a very good bookmark spot. Unlike the first one, but not you can in theory bookmark any episode, but I think this one's going to be very pivotal in terms of specifically the Vokai relationships that develop later in game. because I think this
Yeah.
has an impact on the later
Mm-hmm.
game. So,
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
any thoughts that you have? What do you other than
I
chestnut
mean,
checkers?
other than chestnut checkers, I mean, careful where you throw the bags into the ocean. I know we
Don't
didn't
just
really talk too much about the competition, but there was a scene where Chelsea unties a bag after climbing up a ladder and just throws it frivolously into the ocean.
and Jeff says that's how you do it on Survivor.
That's how you do it on Survivor.
Except no one kept their eye on it. What the hell?
Oh my, yeah. That I've never seen that. They lost track
Lost it.
of
No, I've
the
seen
bag.
people. It was not necessarily a bag, but like especially when there's a bag with balls and like one drops
Yeah.
somewhere, they're like, oh my god, now we gotta go find it on the beach somewhere. Like, and it's the color of the sand. Like,
Classic. Classic. Yeah, I think just, be careful with your bags. When somebody thinks you have an idol, empty your bag.
strip,
Just dump it.
strip,
Just dump it all out.
just strip, and don't let
Be
Dan
willing to
touch.
take your clothes off. Don't let Dan touch.
Don't let Dan touch.
I like. Hey, we learned a lot, and also don't take naps. Just
Don't take
take a
naps.
nap.
Don't take a nap. That's
Folks,
just
play the
dumb.
game. Play the game 100%, 120%.
Fourth gear.
Fourth gear every day.
I don't necessarily want to see the fourth gear, but
No,
I want that up here. Up here.
I want it in your brain.
I want that. That's
Yes.
where I want the fourth gear.
Yeah, that closes it out for me pretty nicely.
All right, now using your forensic scientist,
Yes.
whose hand was that? You're saying
It wasn't the
Karishma?
hand. It wasn't
what
the
was it?
hand. It was the. Well, we know it's a woman because they say, "Oh, I see my bone," or whatever. Somebody cut something.
Yeah,
There was blood.
There's blood.
And we see somebody doubled over in pain. The reason I think it's Lyro, I mean, yellow sweater. I'm pretty sure the way they looking at the cast photo is different than what they're wearing on the tribe.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm just trying.
Orange tribe are reds and yellows and oranges, and Vokai is wearing blues and purples.
Yeah.
And I don't know exactly who had a yellow sweater, but based on the look of the person, black hair, I think it could only be Karishma. I mean, it could be Chelsea.
I know
but
you originally said you thought it was Chelsea, that would really suck to take an idol out of the game like
it
that.
Would suck. It would suck.
I wonder if they would put that idol back in. I don't know if there's a plan for a medevac going out with an idol. I mean, it's always possible. I always wish that like when people went out, they like left their idol behind. Like I really thought that would be cool if more people did that. Like on their way out, just be like, hey guys, here's this idol. I'm giving it to this person. Like something like that. I think that'd be just so cool. Like something like that.
That would be bonkers.
It would be
bonkers.
Kind of fun. Yeah, because like you're out of the game. Cause the mayhem now. Like that's a lot of fun.
I wonder if the rules though, if it's a technicality.
There might be a technicality with that.
Oh, you lost. The idol loses all of its power, or something stupid like that.
Yeah.
So. I'm concerned. You hate to see a person medevaced.
No, yeah.
And it may just be stitches and that.
Normally, though, no, if it's stitches, I think that's a medevac. Like we've seen, like
really, because they don't want infection and everything.
Yeah. Which Nick from Brainsborn Beauty 2, he got medevaced because of a zit. And he was mad. He was big mad. They said we're not risking it. They could get infected because it was nasty. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't just like a little zit, but it was on his knee. It was infected already, but like it wasn't bad. Like it wasn't like he was not hampered by it at all. And they literally saw him picking at it on the beach, and the medical team came up to him and said, "You got to go." They were worried about like malaria or something. I was like, "What?"
Jeez, really?
He was big mad though. Like he was not happy with it.
God.
So
that would suck. I mean, so I'm trying to think. I mean, Pat Cusack, I mean, David versus Goliath, he was bumped, he was bonked out of the game, and then B quit. So there's concern. I mean, recent years, they've lost some people to these medevacs.
There was a stretch in there before the recent years where they didn't lose anyone to anything. No quitting, no medevacs.
I don't want any of it.
Good stretch. But
I don't
here's,
want any of it.
and I don't, you hate to see it, but here's the thing: there's 20 people. There's no
Yeah.
coming back into the game. They're only gonna.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like they're only doing one tribal an episode. Maybe there's gonna be one double episode before the finale, obviously, where they'll do
Right.
like 2 tribals or they'll do a double tribal, something like that. But you got like there's only 14 episodes or 15 episodes max. I think it's only 14 that you
Mm-hmm.
get in a season. And if you get by 14, you have to be at the final 6. So
Mm-hmm.
that means 13 episodes to get rid of 14 people. That's if it's 14. Some seasons are 13, so sometimes you have to get 2 extra get outs.
Dang
So
it. No. 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 No.
yeah, it's that this might be one of them.
Ah, shoot.
Did you
Well,
ever did you ever confirm if she went to her high school? Did your mom ever?
no, I didn't. I gotta get that. My mom keeps forgetting to check the books, but I'm gonna check the books, and we're gonna have an answer for you next week. Yeah, I mean, Tyson Apostle can win the game with a dislocated shoulder or whatever.
Well, if you keep it hidden, something like that, you just like don't tell
He
them.
had it in a sling.
Well, yeah. I
Who
mean,
knows?
it's also a different time now too.
Yeah, I
There's a
know. But
lot of a lot of insurance going on.
I just hope that the cut isn't deep. Well, we'll see. We'll find out. We'll find out on Wednesday.
Yeah. Of course,
Um,
they're going to build it up in the preview to be like, what happened as I go out of focus
yeah,
and back.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Oh, other than that, Vince looks like he might have an episode.
yeah.
Hanging out with the boys.
Oh yeah.
Even though, much to their chagrin, he ain't about that. He's gonna hang out with the girls.
Yeah. Maybe next episode
Mm-hmm.
we'll hear either Dean or Karishma say something because they haven't said. Karishma said a little bit in the first episode.
Yep. She
Dean
had a couple
Dean
things.
still hasn't said a damn thing.
That's Dean for you, man.
Listen, he's
That's
not.
Dean.
He's can't win. They don't ever do that and have a guy win.
Purple Dean.
It's a shame. He has the
Yeah,
look. By the way, I messed it up. I
he
remember
has the
in our
look.
in our premiere episode, Jason's
Mhm.
not a sales guy. He's the lawyer. Dean's the sales guy.
Oh yes.
Jason's the personal injury lawyer. Dean's the sales
Mhm.
guy. You wouldn't know that though because Dean's confessional has never come up saying what his job is yet. So guess
No,
what?
Dean is the invisible man.
He's the invisible man. That happens as well. There's always some seasons where that happens.
Yeah, man.
I don't know how, especially on his tribe where there was so much talking in the first episode.
Yes.
Like
So
he didn't get
much.
anything. He didn't get
It's crazy.
anything.
It's crazy. But we do see him in the preview for the next episode in a circle with Tom and Aaron and Vince. Let me hear a word out of your mouth, Dean. Come on. I'm ready.
Oh, he's useless.
He is
It's a
useless.
shame. Hopefully he's not. Hopefully, maybe we'll find some.
Dude, what if he goes from he's just playing first gear, man.
He's playing first gear.
Slow riding it.
Cruising. He's thinking fourth gear. He knows he's just got to cruise.
Yeah. Oh God.
He's
Yeah.
just
He
gonna let
says.
everything
He says.
happen.
I don't want to appear on the cameras because I don't want them to know that I'm playing too hard. I'm gonna make sure that I get no diaries because I want to do nothing interesting. Just want to sit here and be Dean, and he's doing Dean.
Like Chris said, let me skip half a game and then I'll go win.
Money.
Hot take.
Chris Underwood.
We'll talk about that after the season's over.
Yes.
Oof.
That's for later.
That is
for later.
But yeah, I think that's wrapping everything up. Any other thoughts on the last? Is there anything that we might have not talked about in the scenes from next episode?
I mean, I can't really remember seeing stuff about Vokai other than somebody waking up. So let's just hope somebody wakes up and catches.
That's interesting. Listen, I like the
sneaky person.
I like the versatility of the Island of the Idols so far, though. I like if that's what that's gonna. I really wonder what they're gonna do with it in the latter half of the season. Like I do have big concern. As much as I like it now, I have big concerns about later in the season. We won't get into that right now. We'll probably touch more on that as we get closer. But
yeah,
I like what it's going so far, and there wasn't as much hotness in the booth this week with Sandra and Rob at Tribal.
True. Yeah.
But when there's another good blindside, they're gonna
they're gonna be all about it.
Be all about it. So
I've got this sinking suspicion deep down in my soul, and we don't have to talk about it too much, but like Is it going to get to the point where somebody's going to be picked to go to IOI, and they're going to be like, it's going to be like, pick 2 other people to come with you?
Yeah, it's gonna be like the family visit, where it's like, oh well, oh
Yeah,
Jeff, this is
yeah.
such a hard decision. It's not like I didn't know this was coming.
We're bringing out your loved one. It's Boston Rob.
It's Boston Rob.
Hey, we're bringing out your loved one. It's Sandra. There she is. Wait, what? Oh man, don't get bad, Island, because you're giving us good stuff so far. But I swear, if we hear Rob read the Oath of the Idols again, I'm out.
We know he's gonna read it every. Yeah, we know he reads it every episode. Production.
Please no.
Please don't make him read it to them again. Like, or he's going to. He's going to, because every person needs to know. But we,
of course,
as the viewer, we know, we get it.
Yeah,
you're wasting valuable screen time. Scream time.
It's spooky season.
It's the spooky season. It's October, folks.
Yes.
One other thing too. Did you see what Jeff Probst was saying all on Twitter?
No.
Something that I noticed. Something that I noticed in the first episode too was CBS, when we're at commercials. Did we freeze? Oh no, I'm back.
I lost you. Yeah, there you go.
Okay. CBS during commercials, I'm not sure if you noticed, it said Survivor will be right back. And during the first episode, they showed the tribal before we even did the challenge. They showed the Lyro get into tribal before the challenge even happened, because CBS had a cutaway with that. And Jeff Probst didn't get like hot about it. Like, he just said, like, please folks, I know the spoilers are out there. Enjoy this. The show's good on its own. Try to ignore them when they come up. And CBS had the same they had the same kind of cutaways this week. I didn't notice any spoilers in them. They did show Rob and Sandra talking before. Last week they also showed, during the week at least, the preview showed Kelly getting to Island of the Idols. Like, I knew she was going before we watched the episode, which is also another spoiler. So CBS is making some whoopsies. So hopefully,
here's the most recent tweet by Jeff Probst from one day ago. Well, it certainly wasn't my most gracious moment, smiley face, but our alliance accomplished its goal thanks to the passion of our fans and a great 20-year partnership with CBS. The promo issue has been resolved.
Okay.
Sweet. Moving forward with the rest of a killer season of Survivor.
Yeah. So.
Wow.
Yeah. Right.
Lay down the law, Jeff.
Well, what he said in his original tweet was, he said something like, "Make this known." Like, he told the people, like, tweet this, like, make sure that CBS sees this so that they fix it, so they stop spoiling stuff.
Nice.
I don't know how. Nice. Like, they've been doing this for so long. How did this happen all of a sudden?
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, it wasn't that bad, so it's not something that I'm not going to lose sleep over. So
I'm glad I didn't pay attention. Well, I've been fast forwarding through commercials.
Yeah,
so
right, yeah.
There you go. Oh yeah! Now that I think about it, I've definitely hit like play because I see tribal, and I'm like, wait, that's not
tribal yet.
Keep going.
Like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Weird.
That was bizarre. So hopefully there's no other problems.
Yeah, I hope so.
It seems like they have it resolved. So, well, that was another successful episode. We got a little bit more.
Yes.
More strategy talk in this one. I like it. I like it. We're gonna. The game's gonna pick up. It's probably gonna. I don't know if it's gonna keep picking up. That's generally not how it goes. But
yeah,
I'm excited for the more in-depth relationships as time comes and how we can.
I got my fingers crossed.
Oh yeah. I mean,
my fingers crossed.
We'll be able to talk about something regardless.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Someone will be fighting about chickens living and dying again.
I'll wait for the chickens. I'm ready.
I can't wait. So. All right. Well, thank you for being with us on a Saturday evening. Hopefully next week we're back to Saturday morning. Not that it's much of a difference right now, but it's Saturday. Saturday Survivor.
Saturday is for Survivor. Thank you so much for checking it out. So. Yeah, maybe we'll have to keep swapping between morning and evening. We got to keep you on your toes.
Keep you on your toes. We're kind of like Island of the Idols. We like to do it sometimes in the beginning of the day or sometimes at the end of the episode.
True. Tribal, exactly. So. Right. Right before tribal. Right after tribal.
Right after tribal. Yeah, we're just gonna take the person who got voted out. Like, you're coming to the Island of the Idols.
You're coming to the island. We're gonna build you a hat. Build you a big old head.
It's Edge of Extinction now. Yeah. That's the plot twist. Please no, don't do that.
We're not ready. We're not ready.
Although that would be quite a twist, rather than us like to blindside the fans. Like there was actually Edge of Extinction this whole time, and they just didn't tell us until
Dude.
that would be pretty cool. But I would not be happy about it. I'd be like, what?
Yeah, no, no. Don't put that energy out into the world.
No. I'll take it back.
All right. Yeah, suck it back in.
All right. Ectoplasm. Well, I've been Anthony.
Yes, I've been John.
We got our names right this week. I mean, I did. John didn't
mess up.
So,
we did it.
Thank you folks very much.
Yes.
Have a good day.
Thank you again. See you later.